Oh no!
But I I'm like, oh, is that bad?
It's awkward. I just told him 5 minutes, but.
It's fine. Yeah, you really put us to challenge.
Oh, that's important.
Do you want
Starting
the
off. I'll click it?
Oh, you
Or-
can just pass it. Okay, I can pass it, yeah.
But who's after me? Let's wait until they get some. There you go. Hello. Hello, everyone. Please take a seat. We're going to get started very shortly here. Good evening and welcome to the MIT 100K pitch event for 2025. I'm Christina. I'm Christina and I'm one of the managing directors of the MIT 100K this year along with Supriya and William. We're incredibly excited to have you join us both in person here at MIT and on the live stream from wherever you may be in the world. I know we have some family watching us from Argentina. Ooh. All right, a little bit about the MIT 100K competition. So, it started over 30 years ago when a group of students approached Ed Roberts, who is an MIT faculty and director of the Martin Trust Center for Entrepreneurship, about the idea of living the MIT motto of Mens et Manus through a new startup competition. Ed loved the idea and quickly helped the students raise the sum of $10,000, and that was enough to spur an explosion of student interest and engagement that continues to this day. Through the generosity of some key long-term sponsors, the 10K became the 50K, and a few years later, we reached the current 100K prize. The 100K now is not simply a one-evening event, but a year-long journey that begins with today's pitch competition, followed by Accelerate in March, and launch in May, where finalists vie for the grand prize of $100,000. We are so fortunate to be a part of the incredibly vibrant entrepreneurship ecosystem here at MIT. And for those considering applying in the next rounds, remember, you can apply to any of our competitions throughout the year. In November, we received nearly 100 applications to compete in tonight's event. And our network of over 70 external judges reviewed each application in the preliminary round to get to our final 12 teams joining us here tonight. Our judges come from a wide range of backgrounds, from entrepreneurs to VC investors to scientists. And this evening, the top 12 teams will present their pitches and answer questions from a live panel of distinguished judges. They will compete for the grand prize of $5,000, the second place prize of $3,000, the third place prize of $1,000, and the Audience Choice Award of $1,000.
Before we jump into today's events, we want to thank those who made this event possible, our sponsors. First, we'd like to thank Akamai, our presenting sponsor. For those of you who don't know, Akamai competed in the 1998 100K competition and is one of our greatest success stories. Thank you for paying your success forward to enable young entrepreneurs to achieve their dreams. We'd also like to thank our newest sponsor, Goodwin, for sponsoring this year's competition. Headquartered in Boston, Goodwin is a leading global law firm with deep expertise across the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. The firm partners with founders, investors, and high-growth companies at every stage of their journey, and its commitment to supporting emerging ventures makes Goodwin a natural fit for the competition. And finally, a sincere thank you to the Morgan Thaler Foundation for their steadfast support, which has been instrumental in the success of the MIT 100K competition. In honor of the late David Morgan Thaler, an MIT alum and a visionary champion of MIT's entrepreneurial ecosystem, the foundation continues to uphold his legacy by supporting innovation and entrepreneurship at MIT. The funding that these sponsors and partners have provided enables us to have this competition today and provide the prize money for the MIT 100K. In addition to their support, our partners serve as mentors and guides for our teams and our organizing team committee members.
So I would also like to thank the preliminary judges, some of whom I know are in the audience today. They have volunteered a lot of their time and energy and expertise in order to take us from the over 100 applications that we received down to the 12 finalists. So a round of applause for them. And now I have the pleasure of introducing you all to our esteemed in-person judging panel today. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about who we have with us. So first I would like to introduce Sammy Jatan, if you can wave your hand. Sammy is an award-winning, round of applause. Yeah. So Sammy is an award-winning serial entrepreneur whose journey began in 2014 with a grand prize at the Harvard iLab. His ventures have been backed by NSF I-Corps and the MIT Media Lab's E14 Fellowship. Since 2019, he has mentored and evaluated hundreds of teams through MIT Sandbox and served as a judge for the Harvard President's Innovation Challenge. Also, we're very proud to say that he co-founded UltraNeuro, which was a finalist in the 2021 MIT 100K competition. Also, we are joined by Lisa Dolan. Lisa is a managing director at Link Ventures, where she invests in early-stage AI and ML companies. And she leads a portfolio of board roles and advisor support for founders. She has led investments in companies including Mercor, Trust and Will, Kintsugi, and more. Earlier, she founded the Savile Row Society and held finance roles at JP Morgan and American Express. Lisa holds an MBA from Columbia Business School. Next, we have Narain Talapragada. Narain is a CEO and co-founder of Tessel Biosciences, which uses virtual tissues to design real drugs. Tessel is building its COPD pipeline and partnering with pharma to develop new therapeutics for chronic disease. The company has raised over $5 million from investors, including Amplify Partners and biotech and AI pioneers. Narain studied electrical engineering and physics at MIT and earned a PhD in systems biology from Harvard. Before TESOL, he led an AI education team at Google X and worked in business development at Roivant. Next, we have Alex Manick, principal at Schooner Capital. Schooner Capital is a Boston-based private investment firm. She holds a BS in material sciences from MIT and an MBA from Stanford. She has invested in several MIT spin-out startups, including MIT 100K winners such as Amplified Industries. And then lastly, and certainly not least, we have Miho Kaneko. Dr. Kaneko is a senior associate and patent attorney in Goodwin's life sciences IP practice, specializing in global IP strategy, patent prosecution, and portfolio management. She brings deep expertise in IP diligence for venture financing, M&A, and IPOs in the life sciences industry. She serves on the board of the Yale Graduate School Alumni Association, is secretary of the ACS Division of Chemistry and the Law, and sits on Goodwin's Climate Tech Accelerator Leadership Committee. So a round of applause for all of our judges tonight.
Finally, we want to thank everyone on our MIT 100K organizing committee. These team members invested countless hours to ensure that this event is a success, and without them, none of this would be possible. We also want to recognize our audio and video production teams at MIT who have been so helpful in enabling this hybrid event with both in-person and live stream options. Okay, let's get into it. Tonight, we'll be hearing 12 pitches. Each team will have exactly 90 seconds to present their pitch, followed by a 3-minute Q&A with our panel of judges. At the end of the pitches, the judges will begin deliberations for winners, and we'll ask the in-person audience to vote for the Audience Choice Award. For those joining us in person, you'll have the ability to scan the QR code and vote with the unique voting code that you were given upon entry. These codes can only be used once. The voting form is now open and will be closed 30 minutes after the last pitch, so make sure you get your votes in before then. Later this evening, while the judges are deliberating, we will offer food and refreshments outside in the foyer. There are absolutely no food and drinks allowed in this auditorium, so we kindly ask everyone to keep it out there. And we will return back to the Wong Auditorium at 8:30 p.m. to announce the winners.
All right, so to all our competitors tonight, we wish you the best of luck. And to our audience, thanks for tuning in. Please sit back and enjoy the pitches. But before we get started, I want to give a shout out to all the teams that participated in the competition this year. We look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Now, without further ado, let's get to the pitches. So our very first pitch of the night comes from Mirai. Mirai is a personal AI platform for self-development that lets people talk to their aspirational self through voice cloning technology.
Our decisions shape who we become. Yet right now, billions of people turn to AI to make decisions for them. As a researcher, I led the first large-scale study with OpenAI to investigate this, and we found that while AIs give great answers, they fail at building human agency, the ability to think for yourself and make things happen. This prompted us to redesign our relationship with AI, not one of companion or assistant, but a part of you. Introducing Mirai, your sparring partner or coach in the form of your inner voice, helping you build better habits, reframe negative thoughts, and practice difficult conversations. Let me show you with a demo. So I can say right now, I'm giving a pitch and feel a little nervous.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. We've prepared for this and we know our stuff. Let's focus on sharing our excitement and insights.
So Mirai talks back with me in my voice. Our research shows that this self-distancing allows you to view problems more objectively and enriches your perspectives. And unlike current AIs that are passive and building for engagement, Mirai is built for action, turning those conversations into proactive nudges, motivating you towards your goals. My name is Kathy. I'm a MIT PhD in AI and behavior science, And I'm a researcher turned CEO. With my co-founder, Uli, who has shipped products to millions of users, we're bringing behavior science research to life to help you become your better self. You can meet your best self today at talkwithmirai.com. Thank you.
All right, now we will, judges, feel free to ask questions.
Thanks, that was great. Can you speak a little bit more about the specific benefits of hearing the content in your own voice versus a generic AI chatbot voice?
So this is validated through my study, through two studies actually, with more than 100 people where, first of all, hearing your self voice has a self-referencing effect where it brings neurologically and psychologically more attention to the content. And also, we hear the saying of you give better advice when you have your friends come to you for a problem. So this self-distancing effect puts you at the opposite of your own problems and gives you more clarity.
And then how do you think about distribution?
So as you heard, the app right now is live on App Store, which you can download. We have about 100 people who have tried, and we have a small group of super users who are consecutively using it for 5 to 7 days. And this is our current go-to-market strategy, where we do a high-touch pilot, where we really understand their workflows and see how the app fits into their life. And then we will go through more of a community approach, approaching influencers, and maybe do a 30-day challenge to rank up our distribution.
How did you pick the name of the company, and how you think that your logo represents a company?
So, as you probably know, Mirai means future in Japanese. It actually is a combination of mirror and AI. So it really embodies this essence of the AI is not, like I said, an assistant or a companion, but a part of you that wants you to grow.
So it looks like you've got two components to what you're doing here. There's the voice model to make it sound like you, but then there's also the reasoning model that tells the voice model what to say. So maybe if you can just talk a little bit more about how you generate the content and make sure it's whatever, appropriate, reasonable, et cetera, however you want to take that.
Yeah, exactly. So behind the scene, what really powers everything is evidence-based psychological tools such as cognitive reframing, reappraisal. Indeed, the voice you heard goes through a voice cloning process to generate a voice that sounds really similar to yours, of course, with a bit of artifact.
Could you speak a little bit more about your IP moat and how you seek to distinguish yourself from this very crowded space?
Indeed. So as you probably can imagine, platforms or products like ChatGPT, they aim for to be everything for everyone. And we know that people do want specific tools, such as you will use Cursor for coding or use Lovable for creating websites. And we target this very specific vertical of behavior change. And our long-term moat is the memory and the personalizations, because we know from studying other apps that people are unlikely to switch to other apps once they have already built up this conversation and the apps really know about them.
All right, thank you, Mirai. Next up, we will have Cberus AI. Cberus AI secures modern software and AI systems by integrating directly into applications to detect and stop threats that bypass traditional firewalls.
Application programming interfaces are the unseen infrastructure of the internet today. 71% of all internet traffic flows through APIs. And with the rise of AI agents, we're going to see the number of requests to APIs increase 10 to 100x in the next few years. But this massive attack surface is already poorly defended, resulting in tens of billions of dollars in losses every year. That's why we're building Cberus AI. Cberus AI is an API and AI agent cybersecurity platform. Where our competitors use antiquated rules-based systems and simple logic, Cberus AI relies on modern machine learning, semantic analysis, and collaborative threat intelligence to understand the intent behind every request to our clients' APIs and find, catch, and stop the latest cybersecurity threats to applications. I'm Griff, and before coming to MIT, I was a software and machine learning engineer at companies like Apple, Airbnb, and Tesla. With me today is my co-founder, Sarah, who before coming to Harvard was a naval intelligence officer with extensive experience in cyber operations. And together, we're combining intelligence tradecraft and cutting-edge machine learning to defend the next generation of digital systems with Cberus AI. Thank you.
And we'll turn it over to the judges for questions.
I suppose this is, I would say, one of the most important issues today in my portfolio. So tell me a little bit about what you've actually built and what you do need to build before you can go into enterprise deployment. And then what attacks are you focused on? I've invested in a email wire fraud company, but really focused on finance. Love to hear sort of where you're initially focused and what's built today, what you need to build, because between the two of you, you clearly have the tech chops, but to build something that's really for enterprise, it will be a longer deployment. So.
Yeah, definitely. So we're wrapping up construction of our MVP right now. We are talking to a bunch of pilot partners. We're hoping to bring on the first one next week and get that first pilot deployment out early next year. And so there are a few questions there. Sorry. Where are we now? What else do we need to build? So we need to finish building out the platform. And as we get data with those pilot partners, build out additional machine learning pipelines. And in terms of who our customers are, we are initially focusing on finance. A lot of mid-market financial firms really badly feel this pain because those applications get abused a lot, both from cyber attacks and fraud. And so we're targeting both traditional OWASP top 10 type attacks, newer attacks coming from AI agents around things like prompt injection and data poisoning, as well as ultimately the anti-fraud market.
Okay, awesome. I'd also want to know, how are you going to build credibility in the market?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. Partially, we are relying a little bit on our backgrounds, which is nice. Both of us are currently, I'm at Harvard, he's at Sloan, and we're getting our MBAs, and so we are tapping into those networks, at least initially. But in terms of developing credibility, I think it does take a lot of trust, and that is actually a bet that we are making. But we think it's really important, ultimately, to provide the best solution, and so that's how we're addressing this.
Very briefly, I'm interested to know about the stopgaps in dual use case. Where do you think the rubber meets the road there?
Yeah, that's a really great question. We are actually taking a dual-use approach. We met in a dual-use accelerator. There is a large stopgap. There's actually a huge gap between what the government is able to provide and also what on the commercial sector there is. And so in terms of capabilities, we're actually really hoping to bridge that divide. Partially, it does help. We are an all-American team right now, so we do think that we can break into some of the areas that maybe some of the other competitor or similar competitor companies might not have been able to break into. But we are seeking relationships with the government, such as CRADA agreements and such.
So do you have any MOUs pending?
So we're waiting on some Cyber and CIDR applications right now. So I think that's going to be our first start, and we're pursuing some CRADA agreements.
Great. Yeah, glad to hear it. That was going to be one of my questions. The other one, just generally, what's a pricing model for something like this?
You want to go, or you want me to do that?
This is your turn.
Yeah, so starting out, we're doing a little bit more enterprise sales because we're trying to sign up those initial pilot customers. And the price tags here are generally usage-based and size-based. So they can be anything from 5 to 6 figures based on the usage. But ultimately, we want to make this a very easy, accessible, and developer-first platform. So it's easy for, say, startups or individual developers to onboard. And then, based on usage, grow with it. Because we want to defend not just the biggest companies, but also smaller ones as well, and as they grow.
All right, thank you, Cberus AI. We are now excited to hear from Pampify, an agro-fintech platform that helps Latin American seed and fertilizer suppliers safely offer credit by providing data-driven credit scoring.
Thank you. Hello. Argentina produces almost half of the production of food in the world. Sorry, I will start again. Argentina produces a lot of food of the world. It's one of the main producers. Our farmers, they feed almost 400 million people in the world. Still, the financial system that goes and helps them is broken. So almost half of the production of the input supplies is financed by small and informal input suppliers that they act as lenders without any kind of data or tools. I'm Santiago, I'm from Argentina, and I grew up around a lot of small farmers that they had this challenge every time that they wanted to access some credit. This is because today, a credit decision is based mainly on trust, on reference calls, and guesswork. This is also a slow process and a risky one. Then suppliers then lose sales, and farmers they end up in a system that they need to spend only cash with this. But Pampify is fixing this. We offer suppliers a tool so they can assess which farmer can sell them on credit. We use satellite imagery, climate patterns, and also repayment and transaction behavior in order to understand their production risks.
All right, thank you. And we'll turn it over to the judges.
How do you plan to identify these suppliers and educate them about what you're building? It strikes me as potentially a fairly fragmented and distributed group.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Yeah. I'm curious, so you're selling your product to the suppliers, correct? Yeah. How do you plan to identify them in a sort of capital efficient or efficient manner and educate them about what you're doing?
Thank you for the question. Well, right now we are already speaking and building the product with 2 input suppliers, and we spoke already also with other 27. And at first we want to go and approach them physically, going into different cities. But then once that we grow, we really want to approach them digitally. The thing is that the product that we are selling them is a super simple product. We are giving them technology in order to help them structure the data that already exists and that they currently cannot pay because it's basically analyzing satellite imagery to understand what these farmers produced in the past and connecting this with also public information. So we believe that we can actually approach them with this in this way.
Thank you.
I'm trying to understand the size of the market. Do you think this is also applicable outside of Latin America?
Yes, well, actually, we are just approaching Argentina. We don't want to grow to Latin America, but so you have some figures. In Argentina, farmers in the last season, they spent $14 billion in inputs, and 47% of these inputs were financed by this kind of commercial informal credit.
How would you compare this technology-enabled approach to, I think, traditional approaches to microfinance and the sort of Grameen Bank kind of approaches of the world? How does this sort of add to that ecosystem or facilitate more transactions?
Yeah, well, the main difference is that normally a microfinance or a microcredit or huge, because this, they spend at least $50K in each purchase. The main difference is that banks use a super deep scoring model that they need really to understand the specific risk whether every time that they want to finance a credit. In this case, we are not approaching those kind of sales, but in the contrary, we are approaching the sales, the 50% of sales that are actually given, you come to my shop and I know you just a bit, so I can give you this $50K in product, in seeds, in fertilizers, and you repay me in 180 days when you produce. What we are giving these input suppliers is more technology so they can have this process that they are already doing just with trust and with like spread information in a structured way.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And up next is PowerLab. PowerLab uses safe, real-time AI agents to monitor global signals, connect to ERP systems, and instantly generate optimized supply chain actions.
Okay, I want you to imagine this. You're the CEO of a major electronics company. It's 3 a.m. and breaking news hits. New tariffs just increased, or a major supplier shuts down due to a strike. While your competitors are still sleeping, our supply chain agent has already detected the disruption, identified risks in your ERP, generated response scenarios, and run an optimization model, securing alternative suppliers and logistics routes before your competitors even get into the office. When it comes to optimization, most companies still rely on spreadsheets and quarterly planning cycles, but disruption can happen in seconds. Despite spending billions on supply chain software, leaders still can't answer basic what-if questions in real time. That is the gap that we're addressing. This is PowerLab, a natural language interface that sits on top of your ERP and continuously watches the world. Ask it to find a new supplier or reroute shipments, and watch it update the model live right in front of your eyes. We're turning uncertainty into strategic advantage. And I know your first question, but Kevin, is it safe to let an agent touch our live ERP system? That's why we built Safe Agent, a proprietary engine to ensure agent safety. We know it works because Safe Agent just won OpenAI's GPT Safety Testing Challenge, the largest hackathon in Kaggle history. This isn't just about supply chain resilience, it's about having the technical advantage. This is PowerLab, secured by Safe Agent.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background? This is a company that I feel like you must understand the customer firsthand.
Yep. Yeah, so I started this about a year ago. My background, I've about 7 years engineering experience in supply chain with ExxonMobil and HF Sinclair. After that, I worked for Scale AI for a year doing LLM training data sets. And then I came to MIT. I have a master's in supply chain from the School of Engineering here. My co-founder is Nick. He's also an MIT graduate. He has over 20 years supply chain engineering, software engineering experience. He's technically brilliant. So we have another person on the team as well who's a dual degree ECS MBA. So she's more on the business side. Nick and I are more technical. Nick focuses on scalable optimization, where I'm more focused on the LLM training and the agentic workflow.
Is this also just a cell of fear? How are you identifying your customer base? Meaning somebody who has already experienced an attack? How are you thinking about that?
So right now we're targeting like mid-market distributors and manufacturers. Even a small percentage in like total percentage reduction in total landed costs for them can be millions of dollars a year. So, and a lot of them are looking to bridge that gap, the technical gap between like the huge players that have their own internal AI teams. So we're doing a lot of like pitching, trying to get the name out. I'm working on my O1 visa right now so we can more aggressively go after customers.
What are the ERP providers building in this area in terms of AI agents and otherwise? And what do you see as sort of the most important long-term competitive moats for you?
Yeah, so none of them are doing exactly what we're doing. Some of them are doing similar agentic type things. We're not really trying to compete with the ERP suppliers. We're just building on top. Really, I think the moat that we have is the people that we have. So to solve this problem, you need three things. The first is practical supply chain experience. The second is like an MIT level of mathematical optimization, which is like maybe a lot of people in this room have, but maybe there's 20,000 people worldwide that have that level. And the third is knowledge of LLM architecture, fine-tuning, and building agentic workflows. So of course, like a VC could bring in 3 people that have experience in each of these fields, but I think you're gonna end up, there's a lot of gaps. It's hard to communicate the gaps, and you're gonna end up with a clunky program. So really need people that have like all 3 of these skills in one person. And I think there's maybe like a dozen of these people worldwide, and 2 of them are on our team.
So I always wonder with things like this, with more broadly deployment of AI agents, what kind of risks are you essentially assuming, right, by getting someone to trust your product and then?
Yeah. So this is a very human in the loop workflow. So We can have it so the agent can make changes directly to the ERP system, but our suggestion is you integrate a human in the loop to approve all these changes. So the way it works is like you sign on the dashboard. Let's say it finds a news article and it's making scenarios based on that. It pulls up the news article, and so you, as a human, you can go in and click on it, and you can look and you can verify. Okay, these suggestions make sense. So it just saves you a lot of time, like going out and finding all these articles, deciding what you want to do. Like it already has run the optimization model. We're doing a lot of work in high performance computing to scale these optimization models so they run really fast.
All right, thank you, Power Lab. All right, next up, we'd like to welcome Skybridge to the stage. Skybridge helps airlines align major maintenance and seasonal flight demand.
Every year, millions of airline passengers don't make their flight to their desired destination, to their perfect trip, not because they overslept, but because the flight didn't exist. See, airline heavy maintenance schedules are not aligned with the seasonal peaks and troughs of flight demand. This leads to too many flights during the low demand seasons and not enough flights during the peak days. Imagine Josh, an aircraft mechanic single-handedly responsible for scheduling hundreds of aircraft to the correct maintenance location on the correct start date with no optimization tools to support. There's no wonder why maintenance and long-term flight planning are not synchronized. Skybridge fixes that. Skybridge uses industry-specific language models combined with robust optimization programs to serve as Josh's co-pilot. The result, maintenance scheduling that is more resilient and potentially improves operational income by 10%. In the past month, we've secured 2 proof of concepts with US airlines. In the long-term vision, we don't want just a single optimization tool. Instead, Skybridge uses its unique position as the bridge between flight demand and maintenance to establish the first marketplace for the $100 billion aircraft maintenance industry. So help Skybridge synchronize flights with maintenance so more people fly when they want to.
Great. I'm actually quite interested in hearing about those proof of concepts with different airlines. Here's the background for the question. I get the sense that air travel is a fairly low margin business, and if there's an advantage like this, somebody, a whale, will want to capture all of that value. So how are you thinking about broader market and selling to multiple competing companies and that sort of thing?
Oh, for sure. And there are competitive large within the space, Ramco, Trax, Maintenix, some others, but they're all entirely focused on the short term, like let's optimize for the next day of predictive maintenance. They're not working on long-term scheduling. And even the only tangible example where a competitor has attempted something like this, they went about it entirely the wrong way. The key from my vantage point, having done this, like solving this for my own problem in the Army, is the understanding that the operational impact is much more challenging than just the mathematical optimization problem. So you can't just hand them a mathematical model and say, do this. Like, it has to be much more incremental and expect changes to happen more incrementally. And so you build optimizations differently.
I really appreciate that you brought in a user persona. I'm curious to know if you've conducted a PMR or customer discovery. If so, how many user interviews did you conduct?
Oh, for sure. That user persona exists. Not exaggeration. Don't want to dox them, but one of the 10 largest airlines in the planet, there's one person whose name is Josh, and he picks where exactly and when they start all of their major maintenance. So it's a real problem, and yes, over the course of the semester, dozens of interviews and worked with a handful of different airlines and gotten to data access sharing.
Within the airline, not individual names, but I'm curious about who's the person that feels the pain of this problem the most, that's going to get most excited about what you're building, what's their title, what motivates them? Why do they want this on a sort of day-to-day basis?
That's a really interesting problem, because the reason the problem exists in the first place is that because they have 2 totally disconnected silos and hierarchies. So the person who actually feels it the most would be the director of tech ops. Sometimes they call the general manager of tech ops. So that's the leader of all of the things that make aircraft fly. So maintenance, supply, fuel, that type of thing. that's who does it.
Can you tell us about your team? Like what kind of relevant experience or expertise does your team have?
Great. So I first encountered the problem as an Army helicopter pilot and commander. So I had both pilots and maintainers in my fleet, and I needed to balance and synchronize my own maintenance, and I wasn't satisfied with the rules of thumb and wave of the hand that people typically did. So I built my own machine learning models on the weekend and used that to forecast. I'm probably the only one who will continue on full time, but we have some research people who facilitated with this semester so far. Thanks.
Thank you, Skybridge. All right, next up is Front Row Fantasy. They turn music discovery into a social fantasy sports style game where friends can compete.
Music has always been about bringing people together, whether it's making a mixtape for your crush, or going to shows with friends, or even dropping your Spotify Wrapped in the group chat. But in the age of social media and algorithms, isolation is the new normal. And we want people to stop doom scrolling, and we want them to connect through music again.
The same way it's tough for fans to connect with one another, it's especially tough for artists to connect with their fans. Despite spending $15 billion a year trying to grow their fan bases, artists find it really tough to get noticed, especially if they're not already mainstream. Every artist we've spoken to cites just how impossible it is to grow their fan base through existing channels and social media.
At Front Row, we are building the billion-dollar bridge connecting fans and artists, starting with social music games. It's like fantasy sports, but for music. Front Row brings friends together for competitive listening parties, offers weekly prizes to top players, and showcases artists performing at intimate venues.
Our business model taps into the $20 billion a year US social gaming market. With a freemium model, dedicated Front Row players pay for advanced analytics and game features, as well as access to exclusive social events. On the other side of the platform, artists subscribe to an analytics tool that helps them sell tickets and plan upcoming tours. Ultimately, we want to help fans and artists
find music among the noise.
How do you plan to jumpstart the marketplace?
Yeah, we're kind of cheating and starting the marketplace because one side's already there. We pick the available artists that you can sign to a team by pulling from the upcoming shows at local venues. So the artists are already on the platform, and we're doing free marketing for them. So we really need to focus on growing the hard side, which are the fans.
Sorry, the artists are on which platform?
The artists are on the website already because we automatically pull those artists from venues in a local area. So for Boston, that's Paradise, St. Clair, Royale, Brighton Music Hall.
Okay, and then so how are you finding how are you bringing the fans to that website? And what's the website? What's it, like I don't know of it. So.
Website's frontrowvibes.com. Check it out now. So bringing fans to the website, it's a classic direct-to-consumer problem. We have a couple of playbooks that we're testing out in Boston, like campus ambassadors, and then utilizing existing audiences. So micro-influencers, the venues themselves, and the artists who are coming to perform.
Okay. What's worked and what hasn't worked in bringing consumers to the website, and how many people do you have on the website, and when did you start marketing it?
Yeah, right now we're running a closed beta in Boston, so just personal invite. We've tested out things with local bars and venues, and we're confident that that's something that will scale really well in larger cities like New York and Philadelphia.
So I get the sense a lot of being discovered these days comes from being the background music in a TikTok video or something similar to that. Thoughts on that as a potential channel for you or potential competitor?
Every artist we've spoken to hates having to market themselves on TikTok and really resents the fact that we're in like the playlist era where people have always heard of that song, but they never know the song name or the artist title. And we think that broadly speaking, there's this kind of zeitgeist where people are looking forward to more in-person interactions. We're coming out of the pandemic era. We're coming out of the novelty of algorithms for personalization. And so we think that this is really a cool time to connect on a personal level.
So you're building a lot at the same time. Wondering what is your primary benchmark for success if you were just to look at one metric?
I would say right now that would be retention of how many users of the users that get on the platform, who's returning and on what basis. We want users to come back on a weekly basis because that's the rate at which we have our gaming mechanics set up right now. Yeah.
Maybe one more question.
Is it just you two right now on the team?
Yes.
It is just the two of us, but we've got a really good team.
What's the...
Thank you for asking the
Good
team
answer.
question.
What's the most significant new hire you would make, funding aside, to expand what you're doing?
Yeah, we would love to hire a dev intern to speed up our dev process. We've had a bunch of ideas mapped out for the next couple of months in terms of how we want to build out the game. And so we want someone that's excited about joining a game studio and is whimsical and really enjoys having fun and likes music. So.
If you know anyone, let us know.
Yes.
Thank you very much. All right, next I'd like to welcome Atamarine. They provide zero carbon propulsion as a service by powering existing ships from standardized SMR vessels stationed offshore.
At Atamarine, we are building detachable nuclear power to transform commercial shipping. By 2050, the shipping industry is required to reach net zero carbon emissions. And ship owners and charters are already paying EU penalties that are set to reach 10 times the cost of fuel by 2050. So, nuclear energy has the capability to decarbonize the industry, and it has been proven in commercial shipping since the 1960s. However, fragmented regulation, port access issues, and decades-long licensing are showstoppers for nuclear energy in shipping. With my background in electrical engineering and naval architecture, and my co-founder's background in nuclear engineering, we are building standardized nuclear vessels that can provide nuclear energy via offshore dynamic cables to transoceanic trips for existing ships. Using this method, we can stay in international waters the whole time and avoid individual countries' regulations. Via this way, ship owners can use us to decarbonize today, as we can offer them nuclear propulsion as a service. Thank you.
So I think the main thing that jumped out at me is that with a very cool deep tech idea like this, almost always your first buyer has to be a government. For example, the US Department of Defense or Department of War, or whatever we're calling it these days. So given that, how do you balance the tension between that reality of where a lot of your customers and funding might come from and the ideal goal, I suppose, that you laid out of nuclear fleets in international waters without regulation?
Yeah, we already have interest from commercial clients because we offer a path to decarbonize existing fleets. Obviously, we are keeping our eyes open on the defense sector. We're both international, so that precludes some collaboration with the US Department of War for the time being, but we are working on permanent residencies, so that might not hold true for long.
It sounds like there's a fairly near-term regulatory requirement to decarbonize in the EU, if I understood that correctly. So what solutions are these companies pursuing today to try to meet that goal? And in what ways do they fall short? How do you compare in terms of cost, practicality, efficiency, all the rest of it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So to be honest, the near term is a lot of greenwashing. It's downblending. It's essentially using a lot of, for example, gray ammonia that actually increases life cycle emissions, but it just falls outside of the scope of regulation. So for the moment, they are essentially taking the cost premium of cleaner fuels and blending just the minimum, because these EU regulations, they really, like for now, they're only a 2% reduction compared to benchmarks, but around 2035, they quickly start to drop, which is why there's a lot of interest from the shipping industry to look at nuclear, really, because it is one of the few options that can reach cost parity with fossil fuels. We see that in our modeling by spreading, essentially sharing power to multiple ships. But if not nuclear, then they're banking mainly currently on green ammonia and green hydrogen. So they're essentially banking on a hydrogen and or ammonia economy. And until then, they're kind of down blending and just taking the premium.
Thank you.
What's your IP strategy like?
We already have filed provisional patent applications for the overall concept. As we develop more IP, we plan to update these applications and file more as time goes on.
Thank you, Atamarine. Next up is Opta. They are an AI-powered career coach tailored to Brazilian undergrads, guiding students to informed pathways and opportunities while also helping universities.
Testing, okay. So in the US, universities are used to structured advising. That's not the case for many developing countries. In Brazil, a huge market of 10 million undergraduates, most students navigate career with almost no guidance. With limited staff, universities can't personalize support, which leads to a 59% dropout rate and widespread underemployment. Not from lack of talent, but from lack of access. And the government sees this gap. Brazil's Ministry of Education just released a new requirement in relation to career outcomes and alumni tracking, and universities don't have the tools or data to deliver. Opta is the first platform built for Brazil that solves both sides. For students, it's an AI career co-pilot that delivers personalized insights. And for universities, we could do reporting for aggregated insights into engagement, risk, and outcomes in alignment with these new requirements. Right now, this market is huge and it's untapped. And we, unfortunately, lived through this problem ourselves. We come from all over Brazil, and our undergrads were like this. We conducted PMR, and it turns out it's still a problem. And we are building our prototype to launch in February in conversation with a major educational group that could become our first paying partner. I'm Julia, I lead strategy, Brenda leads product, and Livia leads both the tech and educational dev to our model. Thank you.
Somebody who comes from a very heavy customer discovery research background, I want to commend you on doing the lion's share of work on this. However, it does seem to obfuscate the main question I have, which is ed tech is very difficult to actually get people to pay. So how do you seek to bridge that gap?
So you're right. Education is really hard to sell. We have this regulatory tailwind that it plays in our favor. These companies, these institutions, they need to apply with the regulation. Otherwise, they may face like reduce on the students and so on. And we are applying like a low-end price that we already know that they are up to pay. That it's $4 per student per year.
I think, not in this exact instantiation, but I have heard of, similar initiatives or efforts in, other emerging markets, and my personal reference point would be India. I'm thinking there, oftentimes the issue is employers become rather dissatisfied with, I think, the quality of the talent that they end up getting matched with, or there's some issue essentially which stems to skills assessment or misalignment of expectations. So how do you keep all parties involved here happy or realistic in what they're about to get?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. The thing is, most players currently in the market, they focus on what we're calling last mile career placement, last mile job placement. So they take a student after they've gone through all their education, and they try to take this shell of a person and put them somewhere, and let's figure it out what you already did. What we're trying to build is really something that will accompany the student all throughout their undergrad, guiding them through the skill building, so that once they get to the career placement, they are ready for the jobs. And on the other side, we're taking input from the market on what skills they want. And I know that there is a little gap there in time, but we're fixing for that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice job. We are now on our 9th team for tonight, and we're excited to hear from Longevia, an AI-powered, physician-guided platform that transforms complex medical data into clear, personalized insights. Let's give it up.
All right, so 1 in 7 people in the US have chronic kidney disease. And dialysis, which once was a breakthrough, is not only fraught with complications, it also only really gives you about a 30% chance to last more than 5 years. And not just that, it costs the US health system over $50 billion yearly. And that's not the tragedy. The tragedy is that chronic kidney disease is a preventable condition. And not just that, it can be reversed within as little as 1 year within clinical as well as consistent outpatient care. As a physician and surgical residents have been a part of a patient's journey from the very beginning, the shock of diagnosis, dialysis, giving them a new kidney, and also death. And what I found through all my patients, that the issue is not that medications don't exist. What happens is that the patients don't have support, they don't have monitoring, and they don't have a system to make sure that what they get outpatient continues. Guys, my name is Dr. Nii Adewale. I'm a Harvard-trained physician, as well as an MBA candidate here at Sloan, as well as a co-founder of Longevia, a digital healthcare platform that would change how chronic disease management is done, starting with CKD. With our expertise, as well as with advances in gamification, social interactions, and AI, we transform complex medical data into simple, personalized guidance to how are you doing today and how do small steps that you can't see make a difference now, as well as in the long run. For patients, the answer is simple. They have a fun interaction and they prevent diseases and need for hospital care down the line. For insurers, the question is even undoubtable. By preventing excessive use of the medical system, we save billions of dollars. Guys, Longevia is how we take control. Longevia is how we sustain healthcare. Thank you.
Hi, awesome. Quick question around, of course, distribution. Whether you're thinking about provider side or payer, to your point, this will really help payer costs, so see both sides. So question on that, and then second question is really, gosh, if I had $1 for every behavioral health AI app I've seen, I would do quite well. So where are you going to differentiate, both from the product and sort of the sales side? So let's focus first on distribution, and then talk about the graveyards of behavioral health companies.
Thank you. We were hoping for this question because we see the same thing. The thing that most behavioral apps miss is that their return on investment is measured in decades, right, for conditions like diabetes. The thing about CKD, and we've seen this in literature and we've seen this in trials, is you can get a return on investment by ways of avoiding dialysis within the same year. So if we can show this to payers, that you will see a return on investment within 1 year, that is a value proposition that most behavioral management applications just aren't able to see.
Mm-hmm. And then distribution, payer, provider side?
Yeah. So I think we're going to focus our initial phase on validating that this thing is going to actually work with patients, and then we're going to take those results to payers directly. We have a close connection with MGB as the insurer, and we're going to start over there.
So question for you, maybe this is past the prime ICP for your product, but for example, my 83-year-old uncle is on dialysis and has chronic kidney disease. Emphasis on him being 83 years old. So just help me understand maybe a day in the life of a user, right? How are you actually reaching an older population? What is a behavioral intervention that would actually prevent you from going on to dialysis or delay reaching that point? Yeah, I'm kind of curious about those two things.
Yeah, thank you. So I think a few thoughts. One is, you're absolutely right. People who are closer to dialysis tend to be older in population. This has the advantage of them having informal carers. In other words, you, right, along with their families. And we see that things like smartphone penetration rates in older populations is going higher and higher. Additionally, this is a population that knows and understands the value of health. They've seen their older friends go through various health events.
Yeah, and I'll add a little bit onto that as well. Oftentimes what we see in the clinic is we give a recommendation and a year later, nothing changes. And oftentimes we not just see the patient themselves, but their family. And they're like, what can we do? So you almost have an immediate interaction for not just the patient, but also family members as well. So what that means is if you can link this app so that also the family members are seeing, oh, I see that your blood pressure is decreased by this much, or I see that you're making these appropriate next steps. As a physician, I don't say, oh man, gotta do a dialysis now. I'm like, this is amazing. And by every year, hundreds of thousands, about 130,000 people need dialysis every year. So by even saving maybe 5% of that, we save a significant amount for the healthcare system.
All right, thank you so much, Longevia. Nice job. Next, we have Emergent Cognition Labs. They're building Query, an AI-powered experiment management platform that analyzes metrics, code diffs, and results to generate next steps while paving the way toward fully autonomous AI researchers.
Oh, cool. Hi, I'm Sean Klein, and we're building Query to accelerate AI research. AI researchers run hundreds of experiments per project, but the real work is understanding what works and making sense of it all. My co-founder, Artem, right now is at NeurIPS presenting his paper. He ran 800 experiments to present his research, each one with different code, parameters, and metrics. The majority of his time was actually spent manually crawling through his data to figure out two things: what actually mattered and what works. We built Query to empower researchers to make breakthroughs. We built Query to empower researchers to make breakthroughs by analyzing their experiments, highlighting patterns, and suggesting the next best experiment to run. Our team knows this problem because we live it. Artem is a fifth-year PhD at MIT with experience at Google DeepMind. Serge is a postdoc AI researcher at Harvard, and I have experience building ML systems at Uber. Query will learn from researchers and understand how they conduct experiments so that we can eventually work toward our ultimate mission, which is building autonomous AI scientist. Cursor builds 10x engineers. Query will make 10x researchers. Thank you.
As you talk to AI researchers about what you're building and in particularly the long-term vision for where you want to go, do any of them feel threatened by it? In a sense, do you get pushback from the initial users that you need when they think about where you could go?
I mean, I think a lot of AI researchers are already building toward AGI, so I wouldn't say any more threatened than what their current workflow is. I think when we talk to them about what we're building, they're actually excited. Like for instance, we talked to a biotech company yesterday. They actually run like 10,000 experiments to vet that their models are good. And sifting through that data is really difficult. And they're spending so much more time on this manual labor than on hypothesis generation, looking at what's out there in terms of the literature. It's an inordinate amount of time. And so we're alleviating that for them. And so I think they're actually really excited that they can get to the cool research stuff instead of what is the manual labor of this.
The question comes back to what is your moat? Are the data sets public? Are you going to run into the same problem that Sam Altman is facing right now where he's pirating data sets?
Yeah, so I think the way this works is that it's a dev tool first, right? It's for AI researchers. And so we think about Tesla, a lot of their value comes from driver data, right? They're building, as you go to autonomous vehicles, they have the driver data, unlike other car companies. And so in the same way, we're actually getting the driver data for AI researchers working along with them in their workflows. So we're actually an experiment management platform that gathers that data. AI research is already effectively public. If you're publishing your papers, they may not have all their experiments, but they're happy to share that. People are using open source tools. Like, we've validated that part. And so using that data, we think we actually approach this differently than sort of the first principles model that maybe OpenAI is using from reasoning up. This is actually understanding how AI researchers work and using that data to build from there.
Great. Cool. Thank you so much. Next up, we have Trial IQ. They are building AI voice agents that deliver 24/7 empathetic patient support. Let's give them a round of applause.
I'm a cardiologist at Harvard, and one of the toughest parts of my job is not treating patients. It's telling patients that life-saving therapies exist but cannot be given to you because they're stuck in a clinical trial. Clinical trials have a huge communication problem. Today, thousands of research coordinators make hundreds of hours of phone calls to collect data in trials. The result, a $100 billion trial market is run by phone calls and voicemails. We're solving this with Trial IQ. We've built AI voice agents that act as trial coordinators. Instead of waiting for a trial coordinator to call, a patient can communicate directly with medical-grade AI that can speak clearly, understands multiple languages, and knows exactly what questions to ask. The result, we have medical-grade AI that can monitor safety in clinical trials, that can understand the needs of a patient, and most importantly, escalate to a human when necessary. The results are clear. This results in trials being conducted faster, more efficiently, and with less cost. We're building the voice layer of clinical trials. My co-founder and I are from Harvard and MIT, and we are AI scientists and doctors. We're supported by Harvard Innovation Labs and MIT Sandbox, and we're building the voice agent for trials so therapies can reach patients sooner. We're Trial IQ.
So the general idea, I think, of incorporating more technology into clinical trials has a storied and somewhat choppy history, I think, right? There's been, I think as was mentioned in a previous pitch, a graveyard of companies that have kind of gone after similar ideas or eventually just pivoted into being drug development companies themselves to capture upside. So if you could help me understand a little bit what makes now and this approach different. So it's a little bit about who you're competing with now, but also how you're avoiding the mistakes of the past, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great question. So we didn't actually start with the AI voice agent question. We went through multiple different iterations of where to solve clinical trial problems. The reason we're different is, one, we're doctors and AI scientists combined. So we know the tech, but we also understand the clinical experience. The second, we're involved directly in clinical trials. We know the trialists who go to pharma, who go to the NIH and ask for the money for running these trials. And then the third is that we have put metrics that are aligned with what trials actually value. So metrics such as reducing loss to follow-up, decreasing costs, and we target those trials that have the largest problem with costs.
I think a lot of clinical trials are conducted overseas as well. Do you think this is also useful overseas?
Yeah, great question. I think this is one of the advantages of the technology. The technology is multilingual. It can communicate with patients in different countries, but it's trial specific, so it knows that specific trial that the patient is enrolled in. It creates a standardization, which is currently a problem in trials, where in different countries, there's sometimes different practices for trials. Ours standardizes that while still maintaining that personal touch by speaking in different languages.
Have you piloted this in a trial yet, an ongoing trial?
We are finalizing a pilot agreement with a major cardiovascular trialist who has experience in enrolling tens of thousands of patients. We anticipate starting this pilot in March of 2026.
What are the success criteria they're hoping to see in terms of retention, cost, otherwise?
Yeah. So one is that we are aiming for a target of decreasing loss to follow-up by 10%. But realistically, we think that even if we get 5% or 2.5% of that, it's valuable enough to a trial. A clinical trial right now costs about $50,000 per patient enrolled, but the cost of a patient being lost to follow-up is double that. And so we think that even if we can do 5% of reduction in loss to follow-up, we'll have great success. And there's actually evidence in other clinical domains that this metric is very achievable.
Thank you so much, Trial IQ. Great job. All right, last but certainly not least, we have Autonomous Rescue Swimmer. ARS is a throwable mini AUV that auto-deploys on man-overboard alarms, bringing rapid autonomous rescue capability to maritime operations.
A man overboard is every captain's worst nightmare. Yet today's response relies still to this day almost entirely on human eyesight and reaction time. If your shipmate falls overboard, you become the most important member of the rescue team, the spotter. As a spotter, your only job is to never take your eyes off the victim. It's everyone else's job to sound the alarm, to turn the ship around, and to launch a rescue boat. But your job is critical because launching that rescue boat takes at least 10 minutes. And that's more than enough time to lose sight of your shipmate forever. And this is no one's fault. People are small and the ocean is vast and bumpy. And now imagine how much harder it is at night or during a storm. Right? This is why the survival rate in the US Navy is only 28%. And in the cruise line industry, it's only 17%. Our team brings to bear over 2 decades of naval service, robotics expertise, and over 1,000 search and rescue flight hours in order to bridge this critical gap. And we're doing that with our unmanned submersible, the Autonomous Rescue Swimmer. When an alarm sounds, it launches instantly. Using sonar and AI-enabled object detection, it autonomously locates the victim, surfaces nearby, and sustains the victim while guiding rescue teams to their exact location. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Duh. Hello.
Can you share a little bit about your background? This sounds like something that you've experienced firsthand. And then where is the product in terms of development? And then how many, just if you can educate us, how many victims does this happen to annually?
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Michael Autry. I am, this was my idea to start with, but my background is all in engineering. I was an ocean engineer, electrical engineer, an MS in ocean engineering. I'm a licensed professional engineer, and I'm here at Sloan getting my MBA. So yes, I spent the last 15 years in the Navy. And like any mariner or seaman, we all train for man overboard. We all know what to do. We all learn about this. And like so many that have served this long, I have lost shipmates in man overboard incidents.
My name is Tyler. I'm a 10-year search and rescue helicopter pilot in the United States Navy. As far as stats go, it's about 1 to 2 a month in the cruise line industry that go overboard. I believe over a 12-year period in the Navy, it was about 250 with that 28% survival rate. It's very common, thankfully not nearly as common as it used to be. But when you're out there searching for somebody in the ocean, I've dropped swimmers off into the ocean knowing exactly where they are with a GPS location and still was not able to find them during broad daylight.
Hello, my name is Leal. I'm a senior mechanical engineering student over at Harvard. I have extensive background in robotics for the last decade. I'm also an Army RTC cadet, so that's how we're all kind of connected through our military experience.
So can you say more then about the dual use market, or actually, the government as your customer?
Yes, we see it as kind of two beachheads since it's dual use. We want to go dual use for the sake of diversifying the risk for any investors potentially. We care mostly about our comrades and saving our friends in the military, but why not save as many people as we can? It's the same technology could be deployed from any ship, any medium-sized boat to any cargo ship, fishing vessel, cruise line. Every ship in the world could use this. So we picked a beachhead for commercial, and we picked a beachhead for the government. For the government, it's the Navy. They just did, what's that new thing called? Not PEO, but PAE. When it comes to drones and autonomous systems, they are spending a lot of money right now on new attritable drones, surface, subsurface, and aerial. And then when it comes to cruise line is our go-to commercial beachhead because they have the biggest problem and the deepest pockets. They spend a lot of money on safety. A lot of that is because they have to. And then beyond that, it's about their brand. It's about standing, competing, beating their competitors, by having more safety precaution. So we've had some great talks with customers on both ends, and we feel really good about it in both markets.
Thank you for sticking around until the end. Question, where are you at in product development, and how far are we from shipping, so to speak?
Yeah. So came up with this idea like two and a half months ago. So doing a lot of primary market research, and now where we are with product development is we have on paper created a system level design. We all understand well the engineering required here, but we need some money to start to build a prototype. So we could, I think if we, with $10,000, $10,000 to $20,000, we could have a proof of concept just for the sonar object detection piece. It wouldn't be a vehicle. For 20, we could put it on a remote operated vehicle, but we think we can get like a real prototype doing everything we say it can do for 30 to 50,000. So we're ready to go. We have that high level one. So I'd say within the next few months, we could have a prototype as long as we, get some money. Check out a loan, I don't know.
Thank you. Wow, can we all agree how impressive every single one of these pitches were tonight here? So if you haven't already, please make sure that you vote for the Audience Choice Award. Whether these teams get money, it's in your hands now. You have about until 8:30 to cast your vote. While the judges are deliberating, we will now have a brief reception in the foyer outside the auditorium. Our team has set up food and refreshments for you to enjoy. Everyone is welcome to head outside, and we'll let you know to return once the judges have chosen the winners. And just as a friendly reminder, please don't bring any food or drinks inside the Wong Auditorium.
Thank you. All right, guys.
Oh, yeah. I'll get the very generic font.
How much work is it to work like, I've
almost like maybe 4 2 exams today, and
I've like done small events with like undergrads even, like on poker night, you can just like giving them food and like making sure everyone's there is like so much work. I like hate running this part.
It's tough. Who's next?
I'll go, sure.
You are...
Just the circle and the squares and the triangle. The shapes. One more. Yeah. Just like some of the older programs from... Yeah, but then we it does kind of look like that, doesn't it? Which is hard. Yeah, I know. They probably did. Open up 4-3, right? I'll train it in 3 years and maybe a couple of years. Yeah, I know, exactly. Yeah, that's so cool. My brother is on the oh, I see. Oh, my brother.
Appreciate it. Great job with
Yep.
Oh, sorry, which one? Charlie.
It should be number 11. Oh, that's true, actually. I didn't think about that.
Sounds really like something
When I said request, you looked at me like I was
Autonomous rescue swimmer. Yeah, it's submersible, so it's just like a little mini torpedo shape. Deep enough. Yeah. So the idea is it would dive deep enough anyway in any situation. And that's going to make the sonar anyway. So which depth we have to figure out testing from yeah, but it'll be deep enough. That's at the sea state won't affect it, and wind speed and all that stuff. That's why the aerial system is a bit of an idea of this. Like storm over the highways, where the surface vehicle will work for very
Nice job. I saw you practicing earlier. cheering you on from the get-go. So I'm going to cheer on that side.
Thank you so much.
I hope you win.
I hope so too. That would be amazing.
Yeah. But this is now they're doing the research, but they're not the ones that are going to buy it. They're not the buyer. That's a productivity tool. It's code for you got to put this into your business case if you're thinking about it. You're going to go full time. Your forfeit 2 years salary, a little less because you're going to work summer. And you guys have a different calculus with MBAs now because it depends on what you want to do. Because back in the day, for certain fields, you had to get an MBA. And now in AI, it's a bit of an equal. So you got to really be thoughtful. You might not do an MBA, you might do some other kind of master's program in your area. But I'll just give you the examples. So I was like, oh, I can't go full time. How am I going to do? I was still paying my student loans because I financed my undergraduate education. And I had to finance my graduate education. So I found like the math was just not there. Like, but so I went full time. I work summers, and when you go to a top tier MBA, they have recruiters coming to you. They come like constantly begging you because they have these programs. I'm begging you. It's like we would put our MBA, our resumes in books, and the recruiters look through that. You say, I want to get on the interview list, and you submit your resumes, and they come on campus to recruit. If you don't go to a top tier school, it's hard. And so after 2 years of being in the program, by the time I left, so I worked for 5 years, and I was in a management research. I doubled my salary. Literally doubled when I first started. I literally doubled it. Now, how could you double a salary in 2 years? Yeah. And I'm not saying it's for everything. And now there are other credentials and things like that which you want to look at. Are we doing our quota? Sorry, you guys started this conversation. Let's do our quota. We should ask. Someone will do it. Here, let me put my scarf on. I completely took everything off so that I could say that. I did the Times Square Church thing. Times Square Church. And there was coming 2 hours before. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's like longer than I realized sometimes, and I've definitely done it to a few people. Over to save the seat.
That was my makeup one.
We want to get the MIT and the K.
So we have this.
How are we supposed to? We could maybe go work around it, right?
I feel like the two.
We know
I
where
feel
front and center.
like that might be a little awkward.
Oh, gosh.
We got eaten.
I'm close, Luke. I'm close.
So you guys are out?
Can we go about this?
Someone could go in the middle, too. Can you get us off, or do we need to get switched?
I think we're covering the MIT, though, is the issue.
You can say $100.
So if you want the MIT, you're gonna have to move a little bit this way.
Okay,
So you can see the whole piece.
This way?
So that's good.
Can you get us off?
I can get you all. And then, I don't know how you want to stand with respect to the numbers.
Do you want to just cover that 100K?
You can cover that. Just keep the MIT.
Honestly, if you actually were to like cover the dollar sign, you could still see the K, and then you know it's done.
Let's get closer. We'll deal with that. We're breaking
Take a lot of them. Count to 3.
Okay, well, I already took a few.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. The light in the background is kind of throwing off the picture. Why don't you have a look and
Do you
just,
want to do some cleanup real quick?
you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
very
maybe.
bright.
Dang it, Lou. How's it? How's the like?
Hold on.
You can also.
Pose, guys. I think that was.
You can lower the light too.
Oh, here, if you tap the light, then it gets less bright.
She's a professional.
You want the whole
It's the same.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right. You guys are all swimmers. 1, 2, 3. All right, you want to check it out?
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Wait, let's take one selfie, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Someone get closer to Kaylee. Harmonium, go Kaylee. Go the other side over here. Come right here, buddy. Okay, Kaylee. I love it. We do have to work on our photos. So I'm glad we got some photos. Did you pass slower? Did you see it? Yeah. Did you feel smarter? I guess all these like cancer research and like biotech and environment scientists was working like they're solving for disease prevention. We're right here. We're just right outside. Excuse me, all of you. All of you innovators. Did you catch different things that we did? Did you catch different things? He was like, why'd you use the first one? The storytelling, right? You know, we have 90 seconds. We're going to take this class right now. How you get feedback. And the team. What's everybody doing? The elevator pitch in the elevator. Maybe we can look at that. He goes to LA, London. We do the elevator pitch in an elevator.
The story of the guy?
No.
The guy showed up, drove like 16 hours or something crazy, and he got there 2 hours like before it started or something, and they hadn't even set up. And the guy was like, I'm really excited to be here. I want to be first.
And that makes sense. He's one of the decision makers because he wants them
Sure.
together.
There you go.
Read closer.
You want another one or other?
And absolutely.
You want a thumbs up? All right. All right.
And you're in the advanced Skybridge, so and you're in the dollars and a little bit.
All right. You got it?
I was just kidding, but actually. I get it. I wasn't looking at gazing off into oblivion in their general direction. It's funny how however, civil engineering because we say we do. That's what's unique about us.
Sorry guys, remember no food or drinks in here. We're going to start very, very shortly here.
All right. Let's get started. So anyways, again, a round of applause for all the participants tonight's evening. We hope you enjoyed the brief reception. So now we get to the fun part where we get to hand out the big checks. So we have 4 awards tonight. We have the Audience Choice Award, which you guys all voted for. That's $1,000. And we have third place, which is also $1,000. Second place, which is $3,000, and then first place, which is $5,000. The 100K competition is driven by student initiative, and as you clearly saw tonight, a lot of passion. So I wanted to say thank you all for coming tonight and spending this evening with us. It was a pleasure for us to be with you, and I do mean that sincerely. And so now we're excited to announce this year's winners of the MIT 100K pitch competition. All right, so first, I'm going to start with the Audience Choice Award. Did I grab the right one? Yes. And let me make sure I read it. I don't even have the name.
The suspense, Will.
We could do a drum roll.
All right, yeah, drum roll, please. All right, the winner is Autonomous Rescue Swimming.
Now we know who the audience voted. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. You did a great job. Congratulations. We'll take a quick photo.
Let's take a photo.
Yeah.
Center here. Center. Yeah, there you guys beer.
Bribery.
More than beer.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right. Now, drum roll for our third place winner. Our third place winner is Trial IQ. Woo! All right, so you can come down. We don't have a check for you because we're cost-cutting measures under, according to the dean's guidelines. But we will take a picture with you.
Yeah, or you can get them.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. Of course. Congratulations. Okay, and our runner-up. I'm going to keep making you do this. Our runner-up is Cberus AI.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right.
We don't learn.
Eyes open.
Slate.
Congrats. I'll get the big check.
Alrighty. And finally, for the grand prize winner of the night, who will be receiving $5,000, and the winner is Autonomous AI Swimmer.
You guys got both of the checks. Here you go. Congratulations. Congrats.
Oh, yeah, congrats.
You're going to need a huge envelope after this.
There we go. Yeah.
Congrats. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us this evening and making it a night to remember. And thank you to our sponsors, our judges, our organizing team, and everyone here who helped make this happen, including MIT AV and Video Services. And most importantly, to our competitors for their fantastic pitches, and all of you for showing up for them. Thank you, and have a good night.
Can we have a picture with judges and winners?
Yeah.